Welcome back to Narrations. Some zombie stories begin with panic. Some begin with survival. And some begin after humanity has already lost. Day of the Dead is a story about isolation, power, and what remains of human identity when civilization has collapsed so completely that hope itself starts feeling irrational. The dead now outnumber the living. Cities are empty. Roads abandoned. And unlike earlier stages of the apocalypse, there is no illusion society might recover soon. Civilization has already fallen. Deep underground inside military bunker, a small group of survivors clings desperately to purpose. Scientists, soldiers, pilots, people forced together not by trust, but necessity. The atmosphere feels suffocating immediately. Concrete walls, artificial lights, a world disconnected entirely from sunlight and normal life. At the center of this story is Sarah, a scientist trying to preserve rationality while surrounded by fear and aggression. Exhausted, intelligent, one of the few people still thinking beyond immediate survival. Above ground, she flies with helicopter pilot John and radio operator McDermott searching for survivors. But every city they encounter looks dead. Hordes of zombies wander endlessly through empty streets. No rescue. No rebuilding. Only decay. And each trip reinforces horrifying truth. Humanity may already be functionally extinct. Back inside bunker, tension between military and scientists grows constantly. Major Cooper once commanded order. But after his death, leadership passed to Captain Rhodes. And Rhodes governs through paranoia and intimidation. Violent. Unstable. A man collapsing psychologically beneath pressure of apocalypse. The scientists, led by Dr. Logan, continue strange experiments on zombies, trying understanding behavior rather than simply killing them. The soldiers despise this work. To them, the dead are monsters. Nothing more. But Logan believes remnants of humanity may still survive inside them somehow. And hidden inside underground chambers, he has proof. A zombie called Bub. Unlike the others, Bub responds to memory. Music catches his attention. Tools seem familiar. Fragments of identity flicker behind dead eyes. The sequences with Bub become strangely emotional. Because for first time in Romero's zombie universe, the undead appear tragic rather than purely monstrous. Something broken. Echoes of humanity trapped beneath instinct. Meanwhile, the living deteriorate faster emotionally than the dead evolve intellectually. The bunker becomes pressure cooker of mistrust. Rhodes grows increasingly dangerous. Soldiers lash out violently. And Sarah finds herself trapped between scientific obsession and military brutality. John, the helicopter pilot, represents rare voice of weary humanity. He no longer believes saving civilization is possible. Instead, he dreams escaping to isolated island far away from both zombies and human conflict. And perhaps his exhaustion captures film's emotional tone perfectly. This is not apocalypse beginning. It is apocalypse aftermath. Hope itself feels tired. Meanwhile, Dr. Logan's experiments grow darker. He dissects zombies calmly, studies behavior obsessively, and slowly, the film blurs moral boundaries disturbingly. The scientists claim preserving knowledge. The soldiers claim maintaining security. Yet both groups increasingly lose empathy. Only Sarah consistently fights, retaining ethical clarity. Then horrifying truth emerges. Logan has been secretly feeding dead soldiers to Bub and other zombies for experimentation. Rhodes discovers this. And whatever fragile order remained finally shatters completely. The bunker erupts into chaos. Rhodes executes Logan in rage. Yet even dying, Logan's greatest creation remains nearby. Bub watches everything. And unlike mindless undead around him, Bub appears capable of grief. The moment feels deeply unsettling, because the dead now display more emotional complexity than many living characters. Meanwhile, the zombies begin breaching underground defenses. Alarms echo through bunker halls. Doors fail. And suddenly, humanity's last fragile refuge turns into tomb. As Rhodes descends fully into madness and the dead flood underground corridors, Sarah and the remaining survivors must decide whether humanity itself is still worth saving. The bunker collapses into nightmare. Zombies flood the corridors. Soldiers panic. And whatever fragile illusion of control remained disappears completely. Captain Rhodes spirals into madness openly now, screaming orders nobody can realistically follow, threatening everyone around him at gunpoint. And perhaps that is the film's bleakest observation. When civilization dies, power often survives longer than reason. Rhodes no longer protects anyone. He protects authority itself. Meanwhile, the undead breach deeper underground. Hands claw through hallways. Doors splinter apart. And unlike earlier zombie films, the horror here feels claustrophobic. No open roads. No escape across countryside. Only concrete tunnels narrowing toward death. Sarah, John, and McDermott try escaping desperately. But chaos erupts everywhere simultaneously. Soldiers abandon discipline entirely. Some flee. Some freeze. And one by one, they are overwhelmed. The zombie attacks remain grotesquely visceral. George Romero pushes physical horror further than ever before. Bodies torn apart brutally. Screams echoing through bunker. Yet beneath the gore, the emotional horror matters more. Humanity is not merely dying physically. It is collapsing morally and psychologically too. Meanwhile, Bub wanders through the destruction. And something extraordinary happens. He discovers Logan's corpse. The zombie pauses, almost mourning. The scene remains one of the strangest and most powerful moments in zombie cinema, because Bub's reaction feels undeniably emotional. A creature officially dead displays loyalty and sadness more sincerely than many surviving humans. And suddenly, the line separating monster from person becomes disturbingly unclear. Bub eventually finds Rhodes. The captain shoots at him furiously, still convinced violence can restore control somehow. But the dead surround him completely now, and Rhodes dies screaming while zombies tear him apart. One of horror cinema's most infamous deaths. Yet emotionally, it feels less triumphant than inevitable. Rhodes destroyed himself long before the zombies reached him. Fear consumed him entirely. Meanwhile, Sarah and the others finally escape underground, reaching helicopter just before bunker falls completely. The dead overrun everything behind them, and as they fly away, the underground refuge disappears into silence. The ending shifts unexpectedly afterward. A beach. Sunlight. Ocean waves. Sarah, John, and McDermott survive on isolated island together. Far from bunkers. Far from military control. And for first time in film, the atmosphere feels peaceful. Yet the peace carries melancholy too. Because survival no longer means saving the world. Only preserving fragments of humanity quietly somewhere forgotten. And perhaps that is why Day of the Dead feels so different from earlier Romero films. Night of the Living Dead explored collapse beginning. Dawn of the Dead explored society consuming itself through comfort and greed. But Day of the Dead examines what remains afterward. Exhaustion. Isolation. The psychological decay of people trapped too long beside hopelessness. The bunker itself symbolizes dying civilization perfectly. Humans underground hiding from consequences of world they failed protecting. The scientists pursue knowledge obsessively even as ethics disappear. The soldiers pursue control violently even after authority becomes meaningless. And somewhere between them, Sarah struggles simply to remain humane. Bub's presence transforms the film beyond simple horror too. Because if zombies can remember pieces of identity, then apocalypse becomes tragedy on an entirely different scale. The undead are no longer faceless monsters alone. They are remnants. broken echoes. And humanity's destruction begins feeling deeply sad rather than merely terrifying. John perhaps summarizes the film best emotionally. He no longer dreams rebuilding civilization. He dreams escaping cycles of violence entirely. Finding small corner of peace before everything disappears forever. And maybe that is what makes Day of the Dead so haunting decades later. It understands apocalypse is not loud forever. Eventually, it becomes quiet exhaustion. People surviving physically while wondering whether the world they knew is already too broken returning from. Day of the Dead isn't just about zombies overrunning an underground bunker. It's about isolation, fear, and the terrifying realization that civilization can collapse emotionally long before it disappears physically. Sometimes the scariest thing at the end of the world is discovering the living may have forgotten how to be human before the dead did. If you enjoyed listening to this narration, please like, share, and subscribe for more movie stories. I'll see you in the next one.